Good Shabbos. If you took the entire Jewish people, the entire body of the corporate Jewish people, and you put them on a therapist's couch, how do you think the doctor would diagnose our condition? How are we doing as a people? It's a rhetorical question, folks. I've been thinking a lot lately about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow, a 20th century Jewish psychologist, son of immigrants from Kiev, and like all authentic Jews, he was born and raised in Brooklyn. Maslow developed, as you may know, a theory of human health and development and argued that as humans we have a series of needs that we must address. And according to the theory, they build upon each other. We first need to tend to basic physiological needs: food, sustenance, bodily safety, and security. And only after those needs are met, we can give our attention to psychological needs: love, connection, friendship, intimacy, family, meaning. And when those needs are met, we build self-esteem and self-confidence, and we can achieve a level of what Maslow called self-actualization, which involves morality, creativity, problem-solving. As one early childhood educator told me once, children need to feel safe in order for their brains to grow. And I assume what's true of children is true of adults as well. The hierarchy is often represented in the shape of a pyramid, and I've brought visual aids for you today. Huh? Oh, yes, thank you. The pyramid is a shape which our people have some experience with. The idea behind this is that the possibility of self-actualization is only realized on top of a foundation of these lower levels, more basic needs. And in this week's Parsha, I was struck because we are introduced to a similar image in the structure of Birkat Kohanim, the structure of the priestly blessing. In Parshat Naso, Aharon and his descendants are commanded to bless the people of Israel, to set God's name upon the people. And the words of this blessing are one of the most ancient, one of the most beautiful texts in our tradition. It is ubiquitous in our prayers. It is whispered by parents to their children on Friday nights as we welcome Shabbat. It's an ancient incantation. It was inscribed on amulets. We have evidence of them from thousands of years ago. It is our fervent prayer. May God bless you and protect you. May God cause God's face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God grant you peace. If you take a look at the structure of the Hebrew version of the prayer, it is quite intentional. 3 lines, 3 words, then 5 words, then 7 words. 15 letters, 20 letters, 25 letters. As if there's some kind of deliberate sacred architecture to the poetry. Each begins with the divine name and then blossoms and breathes from there. It has a symmetry and a rhythm. Take a listen to the vowel scheme and how it builds and then resolves. Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha. Shalom. Cheka. Echa. Echa. Eka. Echa. Shalom. That last word, shalom, it catches you a little bit off guard, doesn't it? And it takes you to a new place. And what's true of the form is also true of the content, especially when we think about it in relation to this, to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. May God bless you and protect you. That's safety. May God cause God's face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. That's love, the kind of love that a parent gives a child, the kind of love that we feel from God. May God lift up God's face to you and grant you shalom. May God grant you shalom, which I want to define today as self-actualization. You know, the word shalom in Hebrew is so much more than peace. In that final line of this blessing, God lifts up God's face to us. God meets us face to face and blesses us with the most precious gift that God knows how to bless us with, shalom. In Hebrew, shalom isn't simply the absence of war. It is most certainly that, but it's so much more. It's the destination of all our hopes and prayers. Shalom means and connotes a sense of shlemut, a sense of completion, wholeness. There is a kind of outer shalom, which might mean reconciliation or cooperation, but there is an inner shalom, which implies transcendence. Indeed, one of God's names in the Torah, in the Tanakh, is shalom, as if God is signing this blessing with God's own name. I bless you with shalom, with me. That word shalom, it's such an evocative Hebrew word. It also happens to be my middle name. Our rabbis teach that God had no better vessel through which to bless the people of Israel than shalom. It is the ultimate blessing. It's the aspiration of all of our work. The Torah's ways are pleasant and all its paths are shalom, which I've always thought of as a built-in corrective for Torah study. If the kind of Torah you're teaching doesn't lead to a more peaceful world, then, as the grandmother character in Dara's book, One Little Goat, likes to say, then you're doing it wrong. If Torah doesn't lead to peace, then we're doing it wrong. Every prayer service, every time we eat and say Birkat HaMazon, we end with Oseh Shalom. May the one who makes peace on high bring peace to us. Every Amida ends with Oseh Shalom. God HaMevarech Amo Yisrael Bashalom. God grants the people of Israel peace. Every Kaddish, all of our prayers end with peace. May the one who makes peace in the upper realms make peace on us and all of Israel. And some have begun to add, and on all the peoples of the earth. And let us all say, Amen. But in the words of the prophet Yirmiyahu, Shalom, Shalom, ve'en Shalom. People say Shalom, hello, goodbye. People say all is well, but there is no Shalom. There's no Shalom. Have you ever seen an oscilloscope? It is a scientific device which, when you make sound into it, it shows you visually the shape of the sound waves that the sound you are producing make. If you make the sound shh into an oscilloscope, do you know what it generates? Big bouncy lines. It's high peaks and low valleys. It's kind of like a tornado when you say shh. Do you know what sound makes a flat line on an oscilloscope? That's why in so many cultures the word for mother is mam, ima, mamer, madre. There's something meditative about saying the sound Om. The sound is not only delicious, it's also calming and peaceful. And think for a moment about the word shalom. It takes you from the harsh, disorderly chaos to peace and serenity in the distance it travels from its first letter to its last. So this blessing builds towards shalom. That is the peak of this pyramid. So in one sense, we see a similar pattern to the one offered by Maslow. We begin with basic needs, and we ascend from there. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha is about bodily safety and security. It's about protecting your property and yourself. Rashi says when we say, may God bless you, that means with money and prosperity, and protect you means from robbers. The first part of the blessing is about safety, about protection. The second part of the blessing is about love and connection. May God cause God's face to shine upon you. Feel the love and connection in that line. And the last one is about shalom. It's about something transcendent and greater. It's about extending beyond the self and reaching a more whole and more complete universe. Now, I may be making a mound out of a molehill. No, it's the other way. No, that's it. A mound out of a molehill. Yes? Okay. But I wonder if the structure of this ancient prayer is trying to teach us something in the sense that when we say this prayer, yes, it goes from basic needs to more ethereal pursuits, but the prayer gets longer as it gets farther on in the prayer. It starts with a little, and then it ends with a lot. So it probably should be read this way. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, small part of the pyramid, but we're working towards this upper echelon of transcendence. Shalom. I wonder if this blessing is trying subtly to encourage us to invert the pyramid. The Torah offers us a different model of how to think about organizing our lives and our priorities, to spend less time and attention, less breath, less ink on the basic necessities, and more on love and connection and spiritual fulfillment, more time spent on shalom. Our Torah gives more press to shalom and meeting God face to face than it does to protecting us from robbers. And perhaps it's pushing us to do the same. If I were an artist, I would find some better way to represent this than these crude diagrams that I have presented for you here today. But what I wanted to present to you was this image. When you take the pyramid of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs and you superimpose upon it the inverted pyramid, as I've offered here today, if we can successfully invert that pyramid, then perhaps, just perhaps, we've found some kind of secret to what it means to be a Jew in the world. We are not immune to the hierarchy of needs. If the past few weeks have taught us anything, it's that we are very much affected by a sense of a loss of safety and security. Many of us are struggling and giving a lot of time and attention, emotional, spiritual, and yes, the time we spend in our staff meetings these past few weeks have been dedicated to security and basic needs and attention. I know these are times of deep feelings of insecurity and vulnerability. I wish I could wave a magic wand and take that burden away from all of us. I wish I could. But I also know that our tradition calls on us to continue to focus and spend more time on shalom, thinking and talking about peacemaking, about spiritual fulfillment, about creativity, about morality, focusing on those pursuits, not only on safety and security. If only we spent as much in resources on love and relationships, on caring for others, as we do on protecting ourselves, oh, what a world that would be. It may be necessary, but I do not accept it. I refuse to accept this as our reality, and I'd like us to push each other to try and bring together a better world, a different world. So this Parshat Naso, as we revisit the most ancient of Jewish blessings and receive its blessing for us in this moment, it's not speaking to them, it's speaking to us. V'yasem lecha, shalom. May God grant you shalom. Let us do our work to invert the pyramid, to combine our ancient Jewish recipe for shalom with our understandable need for protection and security. And let us work together to be like the students of Aharon HaKohen, the students of Aaron the high priest, who was Ohev Shalom v'Rodev Shalom, who loved peace and pursued peace, and brought all people closer to the Torah. Shabbat Shalom. Please rise as we recite Chatzi Kaddish, the bottom of 184.